Hey guys, it's me back with another video. For those of you who do not know, I made a video a long time back where I used math to rate the skins in Valorant. Today we are doing the same thing, but including the new collections. Also, for those of you who really want to try this out for yourself, in the last video I had provided a small program that you could try on. This video I will be providing you a user interface program that I have created, which helped me immensely. If you want to know how this maths works, you'll have to check out my previous video where I had explained it in detail. But let's get right into it. This is what the program gave me as the best skin in the game. I have taken cost as a bigger priority, so whatever skin that I get is meant to give a value over cost, not just value, like most other YouTubers do. Number 10, we have the Reaver knife. Yes, it's number 10, it's not number 1. You might be a bit confused. The reason Reaver is here is because it has an animation that is a bit meh nowadays, but its VFX is pretty nice and its cost is also very cheap. But compared to the other knives on the list, I think this might not give the best value. Number 9, we have the gun knife. You might be shocked, what is this no VFX guy doing here? Well, it has an animation which is similar to an M9 bayonet, and those kind of animations make you feel more lightweight. So I prefer those animations having a bit more weight, so maybe that's why it's over here in this list. The VFX was average and the rating for VFX and looks was given as average, but I guess the draw animation had a bit bigger preference according to my ratings that I have provided. So according to the program, this knife deserves 9 on the list. Number 8, we have the Sovereign Sword, one of the best looking swords in the game as well, for the cost that you have to pay for. It costs only 3550 VP and has a very nice VFX. The reason it's not the best on the list is probably because of its looks. I'm not the biggest fan of its looks, and the VFX was also nice, but it required a bit more polish to really outshine other knives in the game. Number 7, we have the Glitchpop X. It is quite expensive at 4350, but it gives a really good value for the cost provided. But again, you have to pay a bit more to get the value. It has a really good draw animation, a really nice VFX, and it looks pretty good, so it has a high score in all 3 categories. But the cost is high, so it kind of drags the list down. So the program said that this knife deserves to be 7 on the list. 6 on the list is the Iron melee weapon. It costs only 3550 VP and has a pretty nice VFX, and I think it looks pretty good, although many people might disagree with this. I just really like the way the color scheme is and the way the character holds this specific weapon, and I think it's pretty nice. So I gave it a higher looks, and VFX of course was pretty nice, so I gave it a good VFX and look category. The draw animation was meh, but the cost was cheap. So if on the list, this was the first on the list last time, by the way. Spline knife. This is my favorite, personally my favorite knife in the game. I only wish they did a bit better work for VFX, but I still really like this knife. And I actually have both Spline and Reaver knives. I still prefer the Spline knife over the Reaver knife because it has that sharpness at the edge of the knife, which is really satisfying to see and use, and it also looks pretty good in my opinion. So I gave it a good draw animation score. I gave it a bad VFX score because it doesn't really have any VFX, but I also gave it a good looks score, and the cost was cheap, so the program decided to put it 5th on the list. The next 4 knives, all 4 of them are actually from the newer collections, so that's probably why the Spline knife was pushed down from the throne of the best value for knife. We have the Celestial Fan, which is quite a nice addition to the game. It is similar to a butterfly, and the animation is pretty nice. The VFX is also pretty nice. It is very satisfying to spam and inspect the skin, and it looks pretty good as well. So number 3rd on the list is the Prime Karambit. A really satisfying knife when you're inspecting it, but the draw animation is not good. I think they should have let us use the default Karambit animation instead of that trigger thing, and maybe that's why it's a bit lower on the list. I gave it a pretty good VFX and pretty good looks. The draw animation kind of weighed it down compared to the price as well, by the way. The cost is being taken into account. Number 2nd on the list is the most surprising result, which even I didn't expect. It's the Winter Wonderland's CandyCane knife. It has a good draw animation, but it does not have any VFX, and it looks pretty decent in my opinion, especially given the fact the colors are variable. The only reason it's very high on the list is because of the fact that it just costs only 2550 VP, and probably the only SWAT which is that cheap, excluding the battle pass of course. But for the cost given, I think it provides a pretty good value because it feels lightweight and feels nice. And I think most of the people who use this knife would also agree with the fact that it's quite cheap and provides a good value. Number 1 is my favorite knife, and I'm pretty glad the software decided to put this knife on the top of the list. We have the Go Volume 1 knife, and it's a pretty satisfying knife. It has a really good draw animation, VFX is also pretty decent, and it looks pretty nice like a knife. You may be asking, what VFX does it have? Yes, it doesn't have much VFX. That's why I give it an average rating. The VFX it has is the draw animation combined with the spin. So that's why it has an average VFX and pretty good draw animation. The fact that its cost is quite cheap and it looks pretty nice and it feels nice with the draw animation, the pull out, I think it really deserves this spot on the list. It's quite satisfying to constantly spam the button and it just fidgets. It's pretty nice to use. That's the list that I have got. What do you guys think about this list? Let me know in the comments below. I leave a link in the description to a spreadsheet that contains the values of the weapons that I have scored, as well as the costs and weight factors that I have used, so you can test it out for yourself if you want to. You can also try this out on your own. Make sure to check out my first video in order to really understand how this specific process works. And if you have any doubts, let me know in the comments below. And what do you guys think? Does Go Volume 1 deserve the first spot? Or does Glitchpop 2 deserve the first spot? My list takes cost into a higher account, so based on the value that this thing provides for the cost that you have to pay, I think it deserves this number 1 spot. Although I'm kind of disappointed that Spline is not number 1. But my favorite knife right now is the Go knife, although I do not have it. I wish I can have it. I think I might get it in the future, who knows. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.